Stephen!
Andrew!
Fancy spending another quiet night inside number 9?
Of course I do.
So, we're going to Hotel Zanzibar this week.
Yeah, not Xanadu. For some reason in my head, I thought Zanzibar, is that the Olivia Newton-John song? No, that's Xanadu.
No, we're not going there. You can go there after we finish recording if you like.
I fully intend to.
So yeah, this is the start of Series 4. Episode 1, written by Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith. Directed by David Kerr, again. We're back to David. Produced by Adam Tandy. It first aired on the 2nd of January 2018.
That date feels more like recent history.
It's really, yeah, it's touching distance.
It is.
Yeah. How
have you distilled this into a little...
Would you like to hear?
Short synopsis. Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Oh, have you done this in iambic pentameter?
I might have done. We visit Hotel Zanzibar and see a plot of twists and turns from Steve and Reece. 30 minutes spent on the corridor, betrayal, farce, and love on the 9th floor. A story told through the rhyming couplet, like a Shakespeare play with intrigue afoot. And so the rhymes here will now end from me. Just one question left to ask. Pooh or we? Thank you.
If you now tell me that you have nothing to talk about because rather than think about what we were going to talk about, you spent all week writing that, I'm not going to be happy.
I did spend a long time writing that.
Good, and I think it was definitely worth the effort. It was lovely.
Man. Thanks.
I hope everyone else appreciates that. Because I need you to have something to talk about, because like I was saying to you before, this is so dense. It's so densely packed with dialogue that I very quickly realised that having a full-time job means that I wasn't going to be able to pull this entire episode apart at that level. So, yeah, not that could do it justice. Anyway, I'd have got a third of the way in and gone, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good job that, you know, when we started this podcast, we committed to doing initial reaction episodes rather than deep dives into the scripts and inner workings of the episodes. Although we've kind of gone there occasionally with other episodes.
That's because for months of this, I didn't have a job to worry about every single day.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I do again. So,
yeah. Well, okay, let's start with just initial reactions to this one then.
It's absolutely hilarious. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's so clever and densely packed with story and tightly done. And yeah, I think they're just showing off at this point, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
With their writing. It's just, this is, showboating.
Mm-hmm. But in a way that, because I mean, on paper, you look at the kind of, I don't know, the synopsis and the premise, and you think, yeah, like that's, yeah, you like snide bastards, like putting that together. But it doesn't feel like that at all. It's just an absolute delight to just bask in, and there's nothing. It's completely different from all other episodes in that. Yeah, it is just something to really sit back and enjoy and not overthink. Certainly, like plot wise, you know.
So that's all we have to say. So good night.
But yeah, like when I was kind of reflecting on it, it was like it's like watching Shakespeare's plays come to life, dancing around a corridor, moving from one room to another, saying hello to each other and being like, I'm gonna, bit of you here, bit of me, I'm gonna do a bit of that, and like so many nods to Shakespeare. Obviously, the iambic pentameter, you know, goes without saying. but all of there's so many other little tropes and techniques that Shakespeare would kind of use in his plays. It's brilliant.
It's another one that's left me feeling like my cultural appreciation comes up a bit short again, and makes me want to be better with this sort of stuff and know more to appreciate it on a further level.
Yeah,
the same as with Sphinx and Understudy, and we're back at that kind of thing of them going behind the curtain a little bit into that world, but in a different way to, for example, the Understudy.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had Shakespeare before, and in there they were trying to, with the Understudy, they were trying to sort of reflect an existing Shakespeare plot with sort of underlying that particular episode. But this is kind of its own thing. You're right with the little nods here and there, but it's not to one fixed storyline they're trying to reflect. It is just like a homage, I guess.
It is, totally, yeah. And so it's like, it's a farce. There's like the farcical aspects, which we will get into because there's some just hilarious things.
I think that's the out and out thing, really, isn't it? It is the farce,
big farce. And then you've got the love story. You've got birthright and betrayal, and that sense of being born into wealth. You've got twins, which I think I couldn't think the Shakespeare play it comes from, but there is a play, isn't there, where two twins are separated at birth, and it might be is it Comedy of Errors?
It is,
yes, and this sense of like, one going down the road of wealth, the other one going down the other way, and almost that balance between
12th Night.
12th Night, I studied that.
Separated on a shipwreck.
That's right. There's that. There's the fairies, like the idea of like fairy and sprites, and the meddling of those characters that kind of come in and both narrate the thing, but also just do little things to change the plot and to and like, because that's the bellboy. Colette is the maid, and then so they're the two main kind of sprites, and then there's the hypnotist, who's also that kind of character.
There's like the supernatural magic element, that appears now and again.
Welcome to Hotel Zanzibar. I see you have not stayed with us before, but please feel free to linger in our corridor and take a butcher's around the 9th floor. The residents who here will spend the night like mountaineers at base camp. They just might be on their way up or on their way down. Some wear an anorak, others a crown, but all are here to meet their fate head on. Will Lady Luck smile on them come the dawn? Who knows? Because I'm just here to lick their chips and smile and hope for decent tips.
So I mean, like, you know, and like most people, I've studied in depth at school, like about 2 Shakespeare plays. But even so, there was that. I just found it delightful just to see bits from even those. So I studied Othello, and Reece's character is a bit like the Iago character in that, and that the turn to camera, like, and you see that a few times through the episode with the monologue where they just get the audience up to speed with what's going on in their head, and the plots against I mean, he's a ridiculous character. Like, what? How does he think he's going to get away with it?
How is this going to play out?
Yeah, and even he's got the opportunity to use the poison again is another another Shakespeare trope, but putting the sedative in the wine It's like, why not just use a poison? Like, rather than I'm going to sedate him so that I can then stab him because he's not very awake. That's like brilliant.
If you're going to use something, go the whole hog.
Yeah, exactly. Good job he didn't, because then the hypnotist would have died, and that would be.
But then he wouldn't have been able to shout spaghetti bolognese.
Do the hokey cokey. That's a moment of sheer genius.
That delivery of the hokey cokey is amazing.
I've had enough. The old man has to die. I'll spill his guts like
spaghetti bolognese.
Prince, you've saved the day.
Thank you, child. I'm glad that everyone is reconciled.
I thought I was a goner.
No way, Pops.
Let's lock him in his room and call the cops.
You left leg.
Can someone tell me what's gone on today?
I couldn't work out which League of Gentlemen characters were being channeled at that point, but there is definitely a whole plethora. The other thing I was a bit confused about was, so you've got Prince Rico, who, unless he's like completely unknown in the public eye, everyone would know that he looks the same as Gus. I would have thought.
What, and Gus is
has never
doesn't know that there's this member of royalty wandering around
who looks exactly like him.
This is theatre.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
Maybe there isn't. So I did notice throughout the whole thing that there isn't really anything that particularly dates it at all. This could be any time, really. That kind of once you get into these grand hotels, they kind of become quite timeless and set in the way they do things.
There's a reference to TripAdvisor.
There is. That is true, and there's also the sleeve microphone.
True.
But aside from that, I think that these places get to the point where they carry on with the same outfits, the same tablewares, the same drink serving trolleys. Everything just sort of stays stuck.
Yeah.
And so you don't it's quite difficult to pin a date on this, apart from, as you say, the TripAdvisor thing. Which is quite a sort of a pantomime thing of this could be any time, but we'll stick in a date.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a real dating reference.
And there's a few, it's Robert's character, isn't it? It drops a few contemporary modern day references in. So like Emmerdale and Coronation Street. Potentially not really modern day references. They've been going a little while, but
they could be, we've got decades of those.
He means me harm. Mother, I'm so sorry. She wanders off a lot. Come back to bed. You're missing Emmerdale.
Is this your son?
I don't know.
Yes, I am. She knows me not. It's such a sorry tale.
But yeah, he talks about some other things as well, I think.
I guess 911 as a thing dates it as well.
Yeah, they were they were around in the 90s, weren't they? That's why I'm not staying in that room. I don't like 911.
Stand there, work.
Excuse me, miss. I hate to be a bore. I was looking at my key card and I saw the number of this room is 911. For me to stay in here can't be done.
Well, you do not like the number, sir.
No way.
I want room 5 or nothing. I think I need to be on another level entirely.
Yeah, so we do, I mean, in this episode, we do see that kind of evolution, certain boys to men.
Stop. I thought you were putting an abrupt end to that for a minute. No, there's another one.
We can do that now. Okay, so well, what have we done?
I don't know. I felt like we were really in sync there.
The theme of twins. Diddle diddle dumpling. Diddle diddle dumpling. And this idea of the grieving father, nearly, who's about to kill himself.
Yeah, that was quite tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, his his little soliloquy is quite emotionally heavy.
Yeah, it kind of comes out of the... It's a bit of a sort of left field smash in the face, isn't it? Because
yeah, it is.
You don't really see that coming.
No, it's like, bam, take that.
Excuse me, I'm missing a plug for my bath.
It's not electric, sir. That'd be dangerous.
To keep the water in.
Oh, that kind of plug. I'll try and find you one, Mr.
Green.
Yeah, so Mr. Green is the kind of thread throughout the entire episode is basically him trying to get back to his work of killing himself. There's a few blockers that kind of come his way, which is not having a plug for the bath. Which I love that moment where Colette says, "You don't plug it. It's not electric."
Yeah. When he delivers his speech about the bath plug and how he's going to kill himself in the bath, he seems very sure on that. But then when he comes to the door later and he's playing with his curtain tie backs, I feel like he might have decided to change tack, maybe because the bath plug was taking too long to arrive.
Yeah, because like at first I was like, the fact that he's appearing with like different methods of suicide every time he opens the door suggests maybe he's not taking it that seriously. But actually, I think it's just because they've forgotten about the plug and he
just
wants to get on with it.
And he's looking at the tiebacks going, no, probably not.
Yeah.
What were the other ones that he came out with?
He has the rope around his neck, doesn't he, when he comes out?
At one point, yeah.
I don't know if is that one of the curtain tiebacks or is that...
Possibly.
Yeah.
He's flirting with something at that point.
No one really bats an eyelid. And then obviously at the end... he's been ready to kill himself for the entire episode, and then the Reese's character, whatever his name is, Henry Blue, he's got him with the knife at his neck, and then it's obviously after suddenly his life has purpose again because he's found his sons in this, and that again, that's a really Shakespearean thing, isn't it? Of things happening so fast. All of a sudden, this family has found each other, and now they all love each other, and it's almost the blood is thicker than water thing, where knowing that you're family means you all get on, and everything's rosy and fine. And I mean, it reminded me of it's a completely different kind of storyline, but the Romeo and Juliet kind of romance where Romeo and Juliet fall in love, and it all takes place over 2 days or something like that. And it's like this seen as this big love story, this big romantic thing. It's like, it's not really, is it? They're definitely not in love. Like, they don't even know each other, but it just felt the same kind of thing. It's like, just wait till you get to know your brother and your dad and your sons and whatnot
before you leap into this with both feet.
Yeah.
Two peas from the same pod, both shelled. Do my old eyes deceive me, or could I be looking at the sons I briefly held?
I was adopted as a child. And I never knew my father until now.
But yeah, there is that parenthood theme cropping up again. Because there's the how's your father?
Yeah.
As a euphemism.
How's your dead father?
We'll go in there for a bit of how's your dead father. I'm sure you're not the greatest boyfriend in the world, I don't think, but
Yeah. How quickly did you spot the twins thing? The fact that they were the twins.
I can't remember the first time I watched it because there's a lot to take in, isn't there?
I'll be honest. When I first saw Gus arrive, I hadn't twigged that it was the same person.
Really?
It was only a couple of minutes later. Right, I'll in a minute.
He's already, yeah.
It's him again. Which would have undermined the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't remember. And like, again, as a Shakespeare plot point, having, because they say, don't they, about because it's that one setting where whether they wear an anorak or a crown, and then something about fate be like there's going to be the fate's decided or something like that.
Yeah.
In this place, which is very Shakespeare, and you can't do a story like this without it being that sort of Shakespearean play thing. Like if they tried doing it not with all of those techniques, it'd be like, what are you doing? This doesn't make any sense. It's like,
and that's the thing, and the whole thing is staged as though it's a play. You've got your entrances, exits. It can all be done in one shot from that audience perspective without having to play around with anything at all. And now number 9 isn't even a room. Number 9 is now a corridor. Yeah. It's just an entire floor, but just a corridor within a floor. We don't go into any of the rooms at any point at all. Everything is happening outside the rooms, isn't it? Or at the doors.
Yeah.
Which is another sort of twist on the number 9 thing.
Mm. Yeah.
And I think you're right that this wouldn't have come off well as anything other than this. And I think taking the opportunity to weave all these Shakespearean elements into it is a bit of a masterstroke. And it just, there are so many ways you could tell a story like this, but I think this is the only one that really, because I think you think of this sort of storyline and it is Shakespearean. Mm-hmm. If you were to read this to someone, this is a Shakespearean storyline.
Yeah.
It's kind of synonymous with what he did and the works he produced.
Yeah, exactly.
Except with, I mean, Shakespeare could be pretty bawdy at times, couldn't he? He had that side to him. Mm. I don't know if it went as far as water sports.
Well, I think there are elements that were probably the equivalent in his day of what that would be today.
Yeah,
you know, I think there's almost a relative reference point there, where because I like some of the things that I think he came out with in his plays did take it to the line, if not over the line. And within all of that is the wordplay as well, and the misunderstandings, the fact that words can mean two things, and all of that stuff, which is something I love about Shakespeare and love about this episode, because even with the water sports. So when Fred is taking the order from Prince Rico for his room service, and he says, "Will it be yellow or brown?" And you have the same reaction as Prince Rico at that point, don't you? Because he's a little bit like, sorry.
I wish to order some room service, which is off menu, if you catch my drift.
I do indeed, sir. Would you care to describe the dish you had in mind?
Female.
Mm-hmm.
Redhead.
Mm-hmm.
Mature.
Aha.
Willing to indulge in some slightly unusual practices.
No problem. Yellow or brown?
What?
Does sir prefer the water sign or the earth sign?
Oh, water.
Absolutely.
And then you think, you're talking about where you like to put it.
Yeah, that was what I thought initially.
Yeah, that's where I went then. And then it was only on obviously the second watch, there was a big gap between my first watch and my second watch.
Okay.
And then it was on my third watch where it's the moment where Alice turns up at the door and says, "I need a wee," and that's that's for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's the trigger for him of, okay, you must be the thing I've ordered. because it's like that's the whole point. And then obviously Gus comes out the room having been urinated on.
That made me think of that scene in Partridge when they go up to the room with the chocolate puddings.
Yes.
They're going to think it's a dirty protest.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Absolutely love. It's just totally absurd and totally stupid. But yeah, it's that thing. I need a wee, and then how much she asks? I think how much it costs, and then he's like, "No, I pay you £1,000." And then she's like, "How much for a poo?"
For a poo.
I need a wee.
Be quiet, have some tact. We must discuss the tariff for this act.
I have to pay.
No, madam, I pay you £1,000.
And how much for a poo?
So were you once a redhead?
Oh, behave.
I said mature, not dug up from the grave. Will you do bondage?
Yes, there's every chance. I did a course at St John's Ambulance.
I'm glad that you were keen. That's good to know. Just tie me up and you can let it flow.
There's every chance I did a course at St John's Ambulance. I think it's the line, which I love that there's every chance. Like alluding to the, I've no idea, but there's every chance. And then that's the moment where Amber comes out the other room and obviously the mistaken identity thinking that it's Gus. And then, and she comes, Alice comes out and he's very matter of fact about, no, go back to bed. Go on, I'll be there in a second or whatever. It's like, there's your girlfriend over there. Yeah.
For her, that is horrific.
It's ridiculous.
It's that there was one thing in the script where, she slaps him. And the script says something like, he looks nonplussed. But he didn't look nonplussed.
No, he was into it.
In the shot, he enjoyed that quite a lot.
Yeah, you can, and I think when you think of the, because there's a lot of the twinning theme comes up again, doesn't it? With so you've got like the two sides of the same coin with Gus and Prince Rico, and you've got the wealth and the. It's not poverty, is it? But it's
normality,
just very normality.
But he's also a bit tight, isn't he?
Tight. He won't pay for a taxi, like that kind of stuff. And then you've got like the romance. So you've got the concealing the ring in the apple tart versus the just weird fetishism, and
then the ring being inside the tart.
Very clever.
Eventually,
from one tart to another.
Because he hands over half a £50 note, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he says the other half will come. He stops there, and then Fred finishes off with "when you do."
Yeah.
But actually, his line stopped with "the other half will come."
Yeah.
And this idea of them feeling like they were just one half of something for their lives is very much back to Diddle Dumpling, isn't it?
It is, exactly.
And the twinning and the halves of a whole.
Two peas from the same pod, both shelled. Yeah. And that it's. I wonder whether they had Diddle Dumpling in mind, because there's a line, isn't there, about the fact that I am half, and now.
Yeah,
we're whole, and almost that sense of like, as twins, we haven't been fully like what we should be.
It's almost too tightly linked.
Exactly,
to Diddle Dumpling, really. It's
in that sense. In other senses, it's like this is a totally different universe. This is playing
completely. The just the general atmosphere. Is very, very, very different. No creeping dread here.
There is no foreboding doom. It's just, it's just
fun.
Great. Yeah, it is great.
I always felt that I was but a half, lacking not just a father and a mother, Meeting your other half makes you a whole. Does that sound wrong? It's nice to meet you, brother.
It is a bit sickening how many things they are good at in terms of their writing. It seems that they can pretty much pull anything out of a hat and say, "Oh, we're doing this week,"
and
this
it just
week is a horror.
It feels completely frictionless as well. Their ability to pull it off. Like there's no part of you that's like, yeah, you've gone a bit
of a reach here, guys.
Yeah, you're out of your comfort zone here. It's not. No, everything's because it's not. This as a concept could be really pretentious and contrived.
Yeah,
but it just
isn't.
No, it just
doesn't come off like that at all. It just comes out as a very clever bit of television and storytelling.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think we've just been like throwing
stuff, yeah,
which has worked probably quite well for how this episode is. But I don't know if we want to take any sense of form as we, I don't know, move into the rest of.
We're acting like we haven't been doing this for a long, long time. We're acting like we're the new kids on the block. There it is.
I was wondering where that was going.
Sleep well, sweet prince. He shall not live the night. 'Tis understood assassins wish him dead, to cleanse our country of his family's line. So when Prince Rico meets my little friend, and grief does shake the old king of his wits, my father stands in readiness to rule, then I will wear the prince's crown instead. And I'll be 911. Not 912.
The first moment that we see that we are in something really quite different, I think, was when Reece turns to camera.
Yeah.
I mean, the intro from Fred. Okay, that's you've kind of got someone addressing the camera like that. That's
just setting the episode,
setting up a story. Yeah, but to actually go on what felt like a real fourth wall break is something we haven't really seen before at all. I don't think in the first 3 seasons we've seen anything quite like that, where we are addressed quite as obviously as Henry revealing his secret plot to kill Prince Rico. And I think that's our sort of our first real Shakespearean moment there. Aside from the pentameter, that we're going into a Shakespearean storyline here of intrigue and betrayal and killing royalty to succeed him.
He's trying to kill Prince Rico so that Prince Rico's father, the king, becomes really confused and upset, so that Henry's dad will then take the throne and Henry becomes
it's quite
a prince.
A contrived plan.
I can't work out how that really.
No, I don't think he knows. I'm not sure how sharp he is, really.
No,
but he, I mean, there's the one later where he is concerned that he's, is it this one or is it the later one where he's concerned he's left his sleeve mic on and revealed the whole thing back to whoever the base is, the security base.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not sure how he expects to get away with
murder.
Any part of this,
literally get away with murder.
Anyway. Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, you've already said that his plan is absurd. Like, just poison him.
Yeah.
Don't slice
he's
your
making
own
up
face
as he goes
open.
along. Yeah, because he's like, the hypnotist show was good.
I could use that.
As
my alibi.
Yeah, like what?
Despite the fact that you were there, and now you're not there. Now you're committing a murder. The alibi won't be that strong, will it?
Yeah, Yeah, so that's Henry.
Yeah, and obviously very susceptible to the work of the hypnotist later on.
Yeah.
Oh, the okie dokie.
Yes, indeed.
No longer in the shadows can I lurk. It is time for me to attend my grisly work. But wait, if I am to be blameless of this deed, then must I have an alibi as fact. I did just see the hypnotist downstairs. He really did a very funny act. But wait, what if I could be the hero of the hour, as if I fought to save the prince's life? I'll cut my face to illustrate my lie. But what if I go too deep with the knife? Oh, come, Henry, stop equivocating. Act. The time for dilly-dallying is gone. Let's raise your hand and stab his bleeding heart. I hope I didn't leave the talk back on. Hello? Hello?
Amber is interesting. So her little moment wasn't a sort of a camera one, but more of that revealing to the audience what's in her head kind of speech.
When she sits down on the suitcase to reflect on the fact that all the fun has gone out of her relationship with Gus and everything's boring, she's deciding, basically at that decision point, do I end this or do I end this, really, isn't it?
I feel like she's kind of made up her mind, hasn't she? And there's the nice exchange with the maid. Oh, is she named for us?
Colette.
That nice bit with Colette with they're so unreliable.
Yeah.
Well, boyfriends or key cards. And I really like actually Colette's kind of naivety, I guess. She's asked, have you been with Fred for long? Ages.
Yeah.
17 weeks. Or something
15
like
weeks,
that.
I think, yeah.
15 weeks. And yeah, she's not particularly sharp, but she's very well meaning, and she's there as like this sort of a lot of this comes out of her lack of sort of awareness and just sort of going along with things is kind of what is at the center of all of it.
Yeah.
Colette not spotting things and just sort of going from situation to situation to situation without stopping to think whether there's any link going on here at all is kind of what's at the middle of it all, I think.
Yeah, and it's that kind of, it's almost like the naive fairy character that is making an impact with the things that she's like letting, like changing the rooms and doing that kind of thing. And then I think she even says, is it when she's talking to the hypnotist and says about, I think I might be responsible for something. Can't remember what it is exactly, but yeah, it's that kind of, and then Fred, the other side of that is he seems more in control of the maneuverings that he's.
Yeah, the thing is, he's quite streetwise, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not going there. There's an opening here. I'm not going to take.
Backstreet.
Yeah.
So he is like he is more of a backstreet boy.
You're taking it, are you? But yeah, he is more streetwise, and kind of this is something that he gets up to. He's not the official concierge. He's the concierge for people who want something a little different.
Yeah.
And he knows where to go to get it.
Yeah, he does, which is what's her name? Red. She does have a name as well, doesn't she?
Tracy, isn't it?
Tracy, that's it. So I don't know where he's found Tracy.
No, it's almost like he's got sort of underworld contacts to say, right, I need this, 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 and this, and they go, right, I know just the person, I'll send her around. It's very, unless that is something that is just sort of a standard. I don't know.
Yeah, I've not worked in a hotel.
No. Or asked for that either.
No, and he knew exactly what Prince Rico wanted.
Yep. None of it surprised him. He wasn't fazed, and I guess that's what makes a good unofficial concierge.
No judgment, no sense of like, really? You want to be what?
I guess if you do that on a regular basis, then you just get used to all sorts of weird and wonderful requests.
And maybe Prince Rico stayed there before, and this is
standard thing.
It's a nice first rodeo.
Well, hang on a minute. This is the second time that we've also had Reece and Steve alluding to people being excreted on.
It is actually, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the seance time and the table.
Yeah. It's almost like we're uncovering something about the retentive, anally retentive.
Or not so anally retentive. Well, a lot of retention going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, good point.
Meant to be lucky, innit? Or is that just if a bird shits on you?
Yeah, it's just birds, I think, yes.
Mate of mine was going out with this bird, and she wanted him to lie under a glass coffee
I'll just
table.
take this outside. It won't be a moment.
All right.
Tracy doesn't have a to-camera moment, does she?
No, I don't think so. I guess she's more of a kind of a narrative device than a full character, isn't she, really?
It's kind of, piecing together the misidentity parade.
Misidentity parade, I like that.
Cheers, man. Just came up with it.
It's a competition where women in identity parade are judged as the best
misidentity parade. Yeah. Yeah. How would you win that? How would you win that? I'm misidentity 2020. Does that mean you have an identity? Or you don't?
Wrongly identified? I don't.
It's like, just balloon for a head. It's fine.
Balloon for a head.
I don't know.
Balloon for a head and a head for a balloon.
She's a narrative device. Good point. A plot device to link and it's the bringing that £50 note together as well, which happens through her, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a list of. So I thought that it's all the climax scene, where everything really comes together.
Did you?
No,
as you read that back.
So this starts. I think it starts with Amber seeing Robert. Does Robert have a to-camera moment? Or is he just sort of like mulling around? I mean, it's another great Steve Pemberton character.
It is.
Like,
he's
camp.
He's becoming a real character man, isn't he? He's, amazing.
He's that character of obviously very close to his mum, lives with his mum, you'd imagine, because he's gone to Boots with his, like, he's been a part of that whole process of her losing her memory at Boots.
Not dementia, which is what I thought was happening until it was just she banged her head.
Banged her head, lost her ability to remember who he was until she then gets smashed in the face by Red. Yeah.
Now she's like a goldfish.
Yeah. Well, you're going to die next week.
A week.
Yeah, that's it.
She's like a goldfish that you win at fair.
You mean she's going to die within a week?
No. She swims about, but nothing is retained. We're trying this new memory technique.
Are you my husband?
No, he's just a man.
A man who wishes to be left in peace. If that is all, I'm going to close the door.
I'm not sure that the goldfish are being cared for very well.
No, I had goldfish that lasted ages.
If that's what you see your distinguishing feature of goldfish as, that suggests you're doing something wrong with your goldfish.
So I thought Alice, very nicely named Alice in Wonderland, Wander, W-A-N.
Nice.
I thought that's pretty much how she plays the episode out. Is she's kind of wandering from room to room, getting up to stuff.
Yeah.
And I love at the end when she's like, "What's happened today?" It's like, you do not want to know, Alice.
Although she was quite adamant that she had earned her money. When Red tries to take the money off her, she said, I earned that.
But then she, like, that was part of when she went in for the Wii, the surprise of, no, I pay you.
Yeah.
£1,000. Reading between the lines, there's a concerning relationship between Robert and his mother, and kind of quite Norman Batesy, potentially.
Yeah, I did wonder right at the beginning whether it was going to turn out that wasn't his mother at all.
Oh, did you?
There was something strange going on. Yeah, when we.
And she was actually telling the truth.
Yeah, there's a strange man in my room.
Fortunately, it didn't go that way. I'm glad it didn't.
That would have been a weird episode. Yeah.
I've waited long enough in there. Pay up!
Pay up? For what? I know not what you mean. This hotel is full of madwomen, I swear. You take the piss.
No, you took it from me.
Mother, where have you been? You had me worried. I found her wandering in the corridor.
Here's 50 for your trouble.
Mother, where did you get that money from?
From him.
Give me that money, Grandma. I have earned it.
Well, I earned it too, though how I can't recall.
You did screw my boyfriend.
Did you, Mother?
It's all my fault. I've messed it up.
Calm down. We just need to untangle what is tangled.
Red, amber, green. I don't know if I'm coming or going.
Yeah. It's clever. Good traffic light jokes.
They're not used enough.
They're not. No, there's lots of scope for traffic light jokes. And then that's when there's the moment of we need to untangle what is tangled. It's a classic Shakespearean thing of like, okay, the spirits and the fairies have meddled and made worse the plot. That like if they hadn't been involved, things would probably have worked out in a slightly better way than them being involved.
Having said that, though, if this hadn't all played out, then Mr. Green wouldn't have got his sons back.
No, in the end,
there is an all's well that ends well.
Yes. In the end, it's all good.
To this,
it is. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah,
and then Henry reappears.
Yeah.
Prince Rico gives that classic ironic line that he's the only one he trusts.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas really, he's the only one he can't trust.
Prince Rico, what has happened? Aren't you tired? I thought you would be sleeping now.
With this, you have to give me shelter from these people. Good Henry, you're the only one I trust. Oh, Amber, there you are, my love. I've missed you.
I've not missed you, necrophiliac.
I'm sorry?
I saw you in your room with that old hussy. Excuse me, I'm not that old.
She means me.
It's a bit harsh on Alice. Like, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Prince Rico described her as having... I wanted someone mature, not dug up from the grave.
Yeah. And then there's the farcical proposal moment.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you've been paying attention, you've seen that plate has been switched. the dome.
There's now some leftover bones. The cloche.
Yeah.
Is lifted to reveal, yeah.
What lies beneath this dome is a symbol of what you mean to me. A load of leftover bones. Which probably is about right for the relationship.
It's a husk of what it was.
And is that the point? He says something about the ring being concealed within a tart.
Tart, yes.
And then...
Which it still is.
Yeah, and that's when she hits Alice.
Yes.
Who returns from Wonderland.
Knowing Robert. She's back.
Yeah, and that's the key point is her using Robert's name. And
that's their happy ending.
One of the delightful happy endings, yeah.
There was a diamond ring concealed within.
Your ring has gone from one tart to another. Why don't you shut your mouth, you stuck-up beat?
Mother! All right, calm down. Let's put you back in here.
How are you feeling, Mother? Are you okay? How many fingers am I holding up?
Oh, Robert, I can't see without my glasses.
What did you say?
I said I can't see.
But you just call me Robert.
Well, that's your name. Mother ought to know her son.
Good God, that slap, it must have brought you back to me.
The hypnotist is sedated with the wine.
This is where, again, the sleeping stuff rather than killing stuff has backfired on Henry. Because if that was actual murder wine,
yeah,
he wouldn't have come back again to put his spaghetti bolognese trick.
And people probably wouldn't have suspected. Henry. Not that he really wanted to kill Vince, but
no, it'd have been pretty clear there. I think
he'd have at least been able to kill Mr. Green. Yeah, no, it still doesn't end well for Henry. Just a stupid plot. Yeah, so Vince is just sort of rocking around, wakes up for a second, and then falls the other way.
He's back out.
Like Chuckle Vision style slapstick comedy. Yeah. And then that's when Gus takes it into his own hands with True Love's kiss. So we get the classic True Love's kiss. He can break the spell. Amber says, don't. Oh, no, don't stop. Don't stop. Good. So everything's working out well. And then the sprites say they've had enough of this confusion. Prince Rico decides he wants to pay his bill. And that's the moment. There's two of them. Right. That's the missing link.
I mean, it's not the most obvious thing you'd go to, is it? If you were trying to work out how all this mess has happened, you wouldn't immediately go, it's probably just two people that look exactly the same.
No.
That's why it's confusing.
No.
So let's
like
be
the Prestige.
Fair to them here. It is like the Prestige, but without the paranormal ending.
Yeah.
It irritated me.
Did it? Yeah.
It did. I felt like it spoiled it.
Sorry, man.
I like the magic aspect. and it undermined it.
In 917, there's an empty bed.
This confusion, I have had my fill.
Excuse me, miss, I'd like to pay my bill.
And we know that they are identical twins because they both have the same birthmark.
Exactly.
It's in the shape of the mastermind chair. What a thing to pick.
I know. So it's clearly this is the same family. Although I do find it weird that Mr. Green says, "Do my old eyes deceive me, or could I be looking at the sons I briefly held?" Like, I know he's obviously quite preoccupied with the thought of his twins at this moment. But like probability-wise, it's very unlikely.
Yeah,
it's very unlikely. But as it turns out, they are. Yeah,
they are.
Sure,
they are his because he knows because of the mastermind chair birthmarks.
Yeah, and it's been people have seen it on his bum. Alice is it Alice that's seen?
Yes.
Yeah, she's seen it on the bum.
Yeah.
So that's where then the meeting your other half makes you a whole. diddle diddle dumpling.
Yeah, and we're our happy ending.
Yeah, and that's it.
Everything's tied up nicely, except in true theatrical fashion.
Henry's back and he's got not quite. Yeah. Is it Henry like some kind of irritating little wasp? Just like, really? He's still trying for...
Oh, come on.
You know, even if you kill someone tonight, you're not going to get what you want.
Stop trying to kill people.
You're going to end up in prison. Like, that's it.
There's now a lot of people watching you right now, and unless you're going to try and take them all out with your knife, you really should have bought a gun to a knife fight at this point. Yeah. Really, because, this isn't going to end well.
So all's resolved, just like a theatre play. And I can get my happy end away.
Not so fast! Everybody stay exactly where they are. I'm sorry to break up this pretty scene, but I have unfinished business with Prince Rico. I pray you, sirs, which one of you is he?
'Tis I. 'Tis I.
'Tis I.
Mother, calm down.
I enjoyed the delivery of this line so much.
Yeah, the
spaghetti bolognese,
and it's the fluid kind of, the old man has to die. I'll spill his guts like spaghetti bolognese, and then into the hokey cokey. I really love Mr. Green's as he runs away, like his run away from Henry. It's a brilliant little trot.
I also like the little Spartacus style. No, I'm Prince Rico. Oh, I am. No, I am.
Yeah, no, I am. Yeah, and then it all concludes with the diamond ring, the toilet flushing, and the diamond ring being presented on toilet paper.
Like, it ends in such a silly way, even for a farcical ending. But I think it's kind of summed up by something the hypnotist said a lot earlier, when he said sometimes you have to paint in primary colours. It's like it is silly and simple. And that's kind of where its charm is at the end of it all. That it is such a silly way to wrap it all up.
Yeah.
Because it has been ridiculous. It's just been, hitting you around the face with ridiculousness all the way through.
And I think that's what just makes it so beautiful. Because it's like, and that's where I think you don't get the pretense and the contrivedness, because they're not trying to over egg the pudding. Like, then it is just like even the confetti, like Vince throwing the confetti at the end. It's just like, it just comes out of nowhere, and then the confetti's falling from the ceiling. Like, it's and it's like they're not overthinking it or trying to make it something that it's not. It's just, it is very simple.
And despite the fact that a lot of the jokes and the subject matter are very adult, there is a certain like innocence to it.
Yeah.
As a whole, where it's almost pantomime.
Well, yeah. It's a father finding his two estranged sons. It's a couple falling in love again, where the magic has been lost. And
it's a son getting his mum back
through a like ridiculous slapstick thing of a knock on the head. It is like when you kind of boil it down to those component parts.
And there's a murderous bodyguard who gets what he deserves.
Exactly. Hokey cokey for the rest of his life.
Is he just still on the 9th floor of the Hotel Zanzibar shouting the hokey cokey?
A great start to Series 4 and completely different from the starts to the previous 3 series.
Next is...
It's Bernie Clifton's dressing room.
It's another big one.
Oh, man. Proper tearjerker. Yeah. Let's finish.
Cool.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope you've enjoyed your stay at Zanzibar.
We're all a little older, if not wiser.
If you've enjoyed your stay, please tell your friends and write a nice review on TripAdvisor.